from different places, we all have different names. No matter what life brings us, Jesus is the same. We're just your Methodist to the madness. Methodist to the madness. Methodist to the madness. Methodist to the madness.
Well, hello there, legal experts. How are you doing?
Yes, I have my documentation here ready for you to sign.
I'm looking for the legal experts, but all I see is 3 dogs on my couch.
Those will work. I'm sure they are.
No. Jovi is a lawyer.
Really?
Yeah. Jovi Jovenstein, attorney at dog.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Perfect. That's super exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't think my dog Molly could be an attorney. She's the exact opposite of what attorney would be.
No. My dogs have like stockbroker energy where they're like yelling out the numbers all the time.
Like their cocaine-addled brains or whatever.
Right. Like that's basically
cocaine dogs. Yeah.
Yes.
That makes sense.
More of their field.
Yeah.
Do you think
whereas your dogs are like refined?
Oh.
Jovi just really likes treats, so she will offer legal advice for treats.
Most lawyers enjoy money as well, so yes.
Right.
Perfect. Well, how are you guys doing? I mean, how's this past week been? I feel like in terms of the miles traveled, Beth has outdone us all by like millions.
Right.
By like thousands. And less than 2.
I guess.
Oh, wait, no, it was more than that. Let's see. It's probably about
3,000.
1,200. No, well,
So,
yeah, round trip.
The question that I have, Beth, is did you fly or did you not fly?
We drove because I'm crazy and I like to take the dogs with us.
Oh, no, that's wonderful to take the dogs with you.
Yeah. And it's also it's cheaper. Like the thing, I feel like the trade-off, flying versus driving, like I feel like it's not even that much cheaper or more expensive because you have to also like find someone to kennel the dogs and all of these different arrangements. And so it's got its trade-offs, and I can bring my mom a bunch of stuff that I've been meaning to.
Right. And you don't have to worry about the TSA or the TSA pre-checks.
Olive oil stillers.
Yeah, olive oil. Like, my olive oil.
So, yeah, I went to South Dakota to see my family, and my brother just bought a house in March, my oldest brother. And so we got to see his house, and his house is amazing. It's like it's like the house was built just for him. And he's got I guess it's kind of like a split level. And like just the living room is on the main level, and then he has a basement where he keeps his shrimp and stuff that he likes to. His hobby is raising shrimp and pea pod fish. I don't know. Anyway,
that's really cool.
Yeah. So he's got all the space
That's
to
awesome.
do it, and had a good time. Had our messy church and holiday boutique yesterday, which had its ups and downs, but mostly its ups. And
awesome.
And that was after coming home from South Dakota on Saturday in the afternoon. And then today I let everybody take the day off, including myself and Craig, and we went to go see Wicked, and it was amazing. Everybody should go see it.
Oh, wow.
I decided I'm in my defying gravity era.
Yeah.
I cried. I sobbed through most of the movie.
Oh.
And
Wow.
I sent my mom a message after I saw it. I said, Wicked was so good. I'm in my defying gravity era. Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game.
Yes.
Wow.
It's so good. Everyone should see it.
It's a celebration.
I was already planning to see it, Beth, but
Celebration.
now I'm even more excited to see it. I'm so glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, that's really exciting. Amber and I are going to see that actually tomorrow.
Oh, really?
We're
Oh,
catching
wow.
the 3:00 showing, so we can try to be home before dark.
Oh, yeah. We caught the 12 o'clock. You're not going to make it home before dark, though, at the 3:00 showing.
It'll be,
Really?
because isn't the movie like an hour and 40?
I think isn't it like 3 hours long?
Wait, really?
I don't know. Beth
It's
is
2
looking at
hours and 40 minutes.
Oh, okay.
2
Wow.
hours
It's
and
one of those
40 minutes.
really long movies. Awesome.
Does it need to be 2 hours and 40 minutes? Probably not, but it was. And
Well, we may have to rethink this then. Anyway, well, that's
that was
exciting.
just part one, you guys.
Yeah.
Well, Jessica, that's a good segue for you to go in your update if you'd like.
Yeah. So, man, gosh, what have we been up to, guys? While Beth was traveling the world, and we all were able to celebrate Thanksgiving in some way. And this year, there's a lot to be thankful for with our newborn baby coming.
Yeah.
Whose name will not be Jesus, but
You're in your Mary Did You Know era.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And but things have been pretty good in our household. We're really excited to travel to Iowa this weekend. So talk about Midwest traveling. We are flying, though. We're flying out on Friday and then we're flying back on Sunday. That's how much we love flying. We're like, let's do it every other day.
Flying is wonderful indeed.
Yeah. I'm like, can I just fly the plane?
You're defying gravity.
I'm defying gravity. But yeah, my cousin offered to throw us a baby shower in Iowa, and my sisters are going to help with like games, I guess. And anyway, we're really excited. For those that don't know me in this way, my dad has 13 brothers and sisters, and so I have like close to 50 first cousins.
Holy cow.
And so
wow,
they are fun. The Young family is the entertaining bunch. If you think I'm a lot, imagine 50 of me.
Stop, Jessica.
Imagine 50 of me. And
that's too many.
we are a blast. We know how to have fun and laugh. And so I'm really looking forward to doing that. Plus, they haven't even met Amber yet.
Oh,
what?
We live in California, and when we got married, we eloped. And so nobody was obviously like at that moment.
Right.
So many exciting things. We're just really, really looking forward to that. And anyways, I'll probably have that part of my prayer requests as well. But
nice.
That's it on my end. But Tim, what about you?
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So my experience was not flying or driving, but I happened to get sick that week that we decided not to record. And then we have Thanksgiving. So my sickness was honestly, I don't know. I mean, maybe it was COVID or something. I didn't test myself this time. Last time I did test myself. But this time...
never test, it's never COVID, Tim.
Right, yeah. So this time, my symptoms were extremely similar to when I had COVID. So I'm thinking maybe I did have COVID. I don't know. But basically, it characterized itself as like 5 days of feeling like I was blowing my nose and sneezing. But then all of a sudden, it just disappeared. No cough, no sinus headache. It was just like a miraculous cold of some sort. And I hope that anybody's experience of COVID now is exactly that way. That is, it's just like a super light cold or something. But it was pretty shocking. And my job is hybrid, so I stayed home on those days. I was lucky to have that opportunity. But I felt like I was pretty isolated, and I felt strange in general. I felt like I needed to go like wear a mask if I was going to go out in public. And I think at one point I actually did to protect people. But I did recover with no side effects. So I'm really happy about that. Anybody who does get sick in the coming months, I hope that they recover with no side effects as well. So what I wanted to mention next is some of my insights. So the first is I might have talked about this on the podcast before, but I remembered how important it is to have positive thinking, like basically being confident and then being optimistic, like having a good attitude about things, even though like things can be obstacles or challenging or something like that. If you have a good attitude and you try to encourage yourself to think positively about those obstacles, then it just makes everything a little bit easier to do, even if it's initially challenging. So that's been really helping me lately. And then the other thing that I came to was kind of a surprise was when it comes to task management and ADHD, it could be particularly challenging. And I realized that with somebody who's ADHD, I think they just like have an implicit task management schedule, like an implicit to-do list that's not written down or anything. And then everybody else follows an explicit to-do list. And so I'm like, maybe I just need to do a little bit of both and then I'll be happy. So that's what I did today. I was a little bit more careful about writing a to-do list, but then I'm like, I can deviate from this, no problem. And then lastly, one of my coworker friends told me that they read books as a primary source of entertainment. And I'm like, wow, I didn't even think about that. That maybe that's not my primary entertainment. Maybe that's why I don't read as many books as I want to read. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll do that at some point. And if I do, I'll mention it on the podcast. So, yeah. So that's my update.
That's very, very exciting.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Well, as we head into our Methodist moment, we're going to get a little serious.
Oh, did we want to have church announcements?
No.
Okay, no church announcements.
There's no time, Tim. No time.
There's no time.
There's no time.
Do it after.
That's called, instead of Tiny Tim from A Christmas Story, what is it? A Christmas Carol.
There's no timey, Tim.
There's no timey, Tim.
I can't tell you both how much somebody has misspelled my name, Time. I've seen it.
Time?
At least 10 times. And then I said the word time.
10 Tims?
10 Tims. Speaking of 20 Jessicas, we got 10 Tims.
Wow. That's crazy. Well, I will do a very fast church update thing. So this Saturday, the Quilters and the United Methodist Men are meeting at 9:00 in separate areas.
Separate but equal. Just
separate
kidding.
but equal. And then also on Sunday, 12/8, the Scouts Chili Cook-Off after the 11 a.m. service.
I heard about that.
Thursday, 12/12, the Senior Luncheon at 11:30 a.m. in the Social Hall. You have to sign up. And then on Friday, 12/13, Make a Joyful Noise Christmas concert, 7 p.m. in the Sanctuary. And there will be a light meal in the Social Hall from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. So just be mindful of those dates. But now it's time to talk business.
This is the business episode of the Methodists to the Madness.
Yeah. So we have enjoyed doing this podcast for everybody, and we find joy in being able to get together and share time with one another, just kind of highlighting the things that go on at Palmdale United Methodist Church. And one thing we have recently found out from one of our listeners is that they found another podcast that's trying to take the Methodist to the Madness name in a different form. So that has, in turn, sparked the legal side in each one of us.
Jessica. I'm just like, I don't know enough about this.
I will encourage whatever is going on here. Indeed.
Yeah, to register our name and likeness to get it trademarked through uspto.gov. It's the United States Patent Office. We want to be able to have full control of the name and hope that others don't take that, because we are the true madness for Methodism.
Nobody does madness and Methodism like we do.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. So,
and I did promise in this season even more Methodism or madness. I can't remember.
Yeah, we are 3 parts of the Wesleyan quadrilateral. To complete it, it requires Pastor Jim, but
yeah,
we are.
I was going to say, to complete it, it requires you listeners.
Oh, that's better. We do not rehearse. We do not have. This is all.
Actually, there's 2 quadrilaterals. There's one with Pastor Jim and one with our listeners.
Yeah. And so what we are going to be asking for, so basically to trademark anything, you have to register it through the U.S. Patent Office, uspto.gov. You're welcome to look it up online. But the standard fee that we are going to be acquiring will be $350. So we're wanting to do this. We want to get this all taken care of, so that way we can create merch and we can do all the things and have complete control over the name and likeness of Methodist to the Madness. So we need your help. We are, all 3 of us will be contributing towards this $350. But if you are interested in donating towards that, it would be the greatest Christmas gift that any of us could ever imagine.
Yes, we would be very, very happy.
I'm willing to make and sell you products.
Yeah.
And I have made some products. I've got some I used to just sell coffee mugs and bags, but this year, and ornaments, but this year I have upped my game and I'm doing water bottles and puzzles and air fresheners. I haven't done that yet, but I probably could.
Whoa.
So lots.
Right.
Beth is a genius.
I'm gonna have a little Methodists to the Madness booth in the back of the social hall from this Sunday until
infinity.
Oh, right.
and all of, not just a portion of your money that I receive from my merchandise and goods will go towards this trademark.
Yes.
Not 10%, not 30%, 100% of the
Yes.
And that's more. Yeah, 100%.
Can PBS say that? I don't know. Probably. I don't know that either.
But it's definitely more than 99%. I know that.
Yeah. Forget about the 99 cents only store. This is never mind.
It is less than 110%, though.
Yeah.
So
right.
If you have any questions on ways that you can contribute, you can email us at methodisttothemadness@gmail.com, and we can provide you with options for helping to contribute. As soon as we reach that $350 mark, we will no longer be receiving donations, because I don't know honestly what we
do with it.
We don't have
actually,
a current objective with those.
If we do go over, like, we'll announce, like, or if you reach out and we've already reached our limit, we'll just let you know, thank you, we've already reached our limit.
Or we'll throw you a pizza party.
Right. Yes. If you do send us money somehow and we end up going over the $350, we'll donate that to the church.
That's what I was thinking.
And so it would be used towards good all around.
Yeah. So ultimately, we will use it for the trademark, but it's going to go to the church. So if we end up with a surplus, know that you're supporting Palmdale United Methodist Church.
Yes. Awesome. That's the business for Methodist moment. And if you're curious why, why would this be important? And ultimately it's, if somebody else does this before us, they could send us a cease and desist letter where we would have to then change the title of our podcast. We would no longer be licensed to use the merch or use the name and likeness of Methodist to the Madness to create the merch. And we would have to just have to change everything that we're doing. So, that's how big time we are. This is when we say we have millions of listeners. We have millions of listeners who
I mean, the fact that there could be other podcasts now showing up indicates that they're trying to get some of those millions of listeners.
Yes. And it has been proven that we were there first. So let the record show that by us doing this, it just solidifies we are number one. And we all know Jesus loves those that come first.
I thought the first will be last and the last will be first.
Right.
So basically we just go full circle.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. We're following Jesus as he's first and the last.
Following us.
Yeah.
Following us. And back and forth.
Totally.
And side to side, kind of like a quadrilateral.
Correct. Alpha, Omega. Amen.
Yep. Indeed.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and head into our sermon feedback. Everyone knows we did take a week off for the giving of thanks.
Welcome.
And so we're just going to dive right into this past Sunday's sermon, which focuses on, well, first off, let's not forget to mention this past Sunday was the start of Advent. So we had the first Advent Sunday. It was very exciting. And Pastor Jim is starting, or I guess restarting, a sermon series on Masterpiece, Christmas edition. So we talked about the mystical Nativity, and it was a painting by Sandro Botticelli. And that is how you say it. I asked Sandro, and that's what they said. It's currently housed in the National Gallery in London. And so we're really excited to dive into these masterpieces that Pastor Jim's going to share with us throughout the Advent timeframe. And the Bible verse that we focused in on was Mark 13, verses 14 through 37. So I'm curious, first off, if you want to look at the painting, if you type in Botticelli, Botticelli, you can type in Botticelli and then the mystical Nativity, and that painting should come up for you to view as we discuss. So what did you guys think of the sermon, though? Any takeaways?
So the first thing that I thought was very interesting was the fact that Jesus sort of like brought forth guidelines about what would be the end, what you could look out for And I thought that was really interesting and specific. I didn't actually know that Jesus was so specific on that. Because there's a lot of different things in the Bible that talk about like famine and like earthquakes and things like that. But here it's like he was kind of unambiguous about it. Like the stars will be falling from heaven and the powers in the heavens will be shaken. And like, and then I thought it was just super interesting how basically even Jesus doesn't know when all of this is going to occur, but the Father does know, but we will not know. So I just thought that was super fascinating. I'm glad that Pastor Jim brought that up, and how the painting basically brings forth like reminders of that. That's really fascinating. And probably Jessica and Beth can chime in on this, but the painting part, the thing that really like mystified me in general was how the artist was able to put little inscriptions in like the ribbons and stuff like that, and we couldn't even see it with the naked eye. We had to use an infrared like lens or whatever to actually find out what it said. And the fact that it was like so like well written out and so forth, like for all of those like little ribbons, like all these different sayings, that's just like Pastor Jim's sermon series is called. It's a masterpiece. And I just love how there's like all these different metaphors in the painting too. I think that's really neat. And it just goes to show that the artist of this work, Botticelli, is just a genius. And I actually wonder how long it took him to make this painting, because it's just incredible. And it reminds me of just how like beautiful we can have these paintings. Like if you go to an art museum or just like look at any historical paintings, especially ones that are inspired by the Bible, there's just like so much beauty and magnificence to the painting, like just so much inspiration, like heart and soul put into these paintings. And I just think that's awesome that Pastor Jim is covering that in his series, and he's doing it. He's covering it again, like Jessica pointed out. It's so cool. So,
yeah.
Those are some of my key takeaways.
It's pretty similar to like what I kind of uncovered with the like only Jesus knows when, you know, it's going to be like the end times and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's interesting because I've heard even recently people saying, oh, here's a sign, like here's the
I know, I say it all the time, but it's
you know, at the same time, it's kind of like, I think if people were to get caught up in like just searching for all the things like, oh, there was an overload of frogs down in Mississippi. I don't know. Like, I think if people search for stuff like that, I don't think that it really is benefiting them in any way in relationship with Jesus. If anything, it's more of, it seems like it's them trying to kind of take control of the narrative and write a story that's not even like their story.
I agree with you. And
I totally agree.
They're closing themselves off to what could be happening in their lives through God by doing that, you know? Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. It's kind of just, it's a distraction.
And I say this as a born pessimist, like I am a very pessimist sometimes. I'm simultaneous the most optimistic and pessimistic person I know. I'm both of
them. I think I might be that way
the
too.
Optimism side win. You know, it's hard, but
I wanted to mention at the very end of Mark. So Mark 13. Is where Jesus talks about this. At the very end, he says, "And what I say to you, I say to all, keep awake." So like, it's more important for us to just like focus on following after Jesus and like loving God more than anything else. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tis true. Tis
We
true.
have it figured out. Good for us. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have any. Well, I don't have anything figured out.
Me neither.
It's an ongoing figuring out process.
Actually, I do feel like the smartest thing I learned, like as a continually evolving human, is that I don't have anything figured out, and that
Right.
in its own way is kind of like a huge weight off of my shoulders, because I don't have to have everything figured out. I never did have to have anything figured out.
Yeah.
Any pressure for for me to think I had to have everything figured out was pressure that I've put on myself, and society has put on us as well.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I think that's really important. That I think is a way to like basically show ourselves like some level of self-care, honestly. Like the fact that we're not putting that pressure on ourselves to think that we have all the answers. And I think as a spiritual people like ourselves, I think that's important in our relationship with God too. Like it's okay that we don't have everything figured out in that regard too. And it's okay for anybody to not have that figured out, but we still like love others and we love God and we trust that we don't really trust that we'll ever have it figured out, but we can trust that things can go in the right direction as long as we have some
Gotta have faith.
Yeah, gotta have faith. Exactly. Yeah, thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
See, I didn't have it figured out, and you helped me figure it out.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Tim. That's the thing. We don't have it figured out, but we can help each other to figure it out. And I think the most beautiful thing out of all of it is that we don't have to have everything figured out, but we also have friends who will help us along the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Care about us.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's awesome.
I did want to mention, like the way that this painting was done. It's interesting because, back in the 1500s, painting was really the only, like, I don't want to say only because, I wasn't there. Unfortunately, I'm not 1,000 years old, but it was an expression of feeling and creativity through art and just any like a medium to do so. And, nowadays there's so many different ways for people to express themselves through art, and there's so many different mediums to choose from. And I think it's great to see such a perspective of somebody who took, the nativity scene of how they felt, the baby Jesus would look, not with the, the blanket tightly around him. It was just like freely exposed, and and how everybody was, wearing particularly colored clothing and all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting the choices that were made, and I think it's, only right for us to remember that we can also do the same thing in different ways of how we see Jesus in different ways and express our thoughts and our feelings through art in some capacity, whether that is through animation or you can do your own painting, or maybe it's through crocheting or different kinds of things. There's so many ways to express how you view Jesus and how you see different stories about Jesus, and how cool that your version of it can kind of be interpreted and your perspective can be seen that way. Because that's ultimately what this is. It's someone's perspective, someone's thought, someone's creative medium put on display for us to kind of view and dissect. And, it's always nice when there's like scripture to kind of go with it.
Yeah.
It's a good challenge for us to kind of, what could we create? Kind of fun.
I was just having, so I have two things I'd like to say. I was just having a conversation with Owen yesterday. We were actually talking about Ben Folds 5's song Brick.
Mhm.
And that song he wrote when I'm if you guys want to know what the song's about, you can look it up. But those who know what it's about know what it's about. But anyway, I was just thinking about how cool. I was just really thinking about that song and how cool that people can take the pain that they're feeling inside and turn it into something beautiful. And I think that that's like, whether it be painting or writing or crocheting, like Jessica said, and like, and we even had the Messy Church / holiday boutique yesterday, and Pastor Jim was asking us if, we were satisfied with, the money that we made and everything. And to be honest, I didn't even like add up the money that I made. And I was like, I don't even know how much money I made, but it's not even about the money for me. I just like to make stuff. Like, it's the that does it for me. And like, if other people want to benefit from it to help me out, but but it's not about making money for me. It's about making stuff. And I think that's the way that it should be. And then the second thing, a couple weeks ago, on a whim, I was on Facebook and I signed up for this this subscription box called Sketchbox. And basically each month they'll send you like different art supplies, and then there's a QR code on the thing that comes in the package, and it shows you how to make whatever it is. And so I haven't done it yet, but I opened it, and oh my goodness, it's got like watercolors, and one of the little palettes of watercolors was just in this like little slice of wood, and there's little watercolors, and I was reading the little slip of paper where these watercolors came from, and it's from an indigenous family. And so I was like, that's really cool. And then there was just like a little story. There's other little things that come in it, and I think we're making a wreath on watercolor paper, and I'm really excited, but I haven't done it because I'm too tired. I need to.
That's really cool, though.
So
I can create.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, and kind of taking what Jessica was saying about how we have our own like artistic way of maybe communicating with God, or just creativity and our spiritual expression. I think for me, I don't know. I might have some capability of drawing something. I've never really cultivated it. But for me, it's all about writing. Like, I love writing, and I really want to write a book someday. I'm not there yet. But like, like in accordance with that, well, not really, just kind of as an aside, but ultimately in accordance with that, the aside is, I've over the last few weeks, I've been mentioning it on the podcast a couple of times here and there. I've been trying to cultivate a better prayer relationship with God, and I think I'm actually kind of getting there to where I feel like I'm just really comfortable reaching out to God like on a daily basis, and I just feel like the prayers are just real natural for me now. Like, I'm just kind of expressing like what's on my heart and just like giving it to God. And I really think that maybe what my spiritual expression could be is just like a prayer journal. Like I mentioned it before, but maybe being actually legitimately making that something I can do. And maybe some other spiritual writing of some sort. I don't know, but yeah, I think that's the beauty of like faith in God and trusting Jesus. We have our, like, we all have our own unique spiritual expressions. It could be like the different creations that Beth is doing. It could be like Jessica's music, and then for me, it's writing. It sounds like we're all bringing something to Jesus' table. I can't believe I said Jesus' table.
I love that you said Jesus' table, though. I like it.
Thank you.
Oh, here's the little, bless you. Here's the little watercolor palette thing.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
wow.
cool.
Oh, that's so neat. Wow.
Beth is showing us how fancy she is at the table of Jesus.
Yes. She's
Mine's
actually
a coffee table of Jesus.
well, for the record, Beth, what you were showing us looked kind of like a cookie. So
I'll send Jessica a picture and she
wait,
can.
no, what is that though? It's not a cookie. This
It's
is
a
good for our
little
viewers
slice
to
of
know.
tree. It looks like a birch tree.
It's a little slice of tree.
Yeah.
Oh,
Instead of a little
wow.
slice of heaven, it's a little slice of tree.
Oh, wow.
Wonderful.
If anyone is interested, the company is Beam Paints.
Oh,
Beam
okay.
Paints.
The how is it spelled? BEAM or BEEM?
EEAM.
I think it's BEEEM.
BEEEEE.
Yeah, it's a phone number, but instead of numbers, it's E's.
Right.
Yes.
Or Bumblebee.
Yeah. And if your name is Scotty, I think you get a discount because then you say, "Beam me up, Scotty."
I thought Scotty doesn't know. That's
It's all about Stacy's mom.
She's got it going on.
Yeah.
That song actually came on our Google radio mix when we were driving.
Really?
That's hilarious.
Somewhere in Wyoming, probably.
That's amazing.
So,
Well,
no, it wasn't that one. I'm sorry. It was 1985 by Bowling for Soup.
yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, good to know.
Well, let's go ahead and share some prayer requests.
Yeah, speaking of bumblebees now.
Bumblebees.
I would like to pray for the bees. Thank you.
Yeah.
Kidding.
Oh yeah, they have a hard life. Yeah, that's perfectly viable to me.
Totally. Totally.
I actually would like to share a praise and a prayer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do it.
That sounds good.
Having a really rough day yesterday, and everything that could go wrong did go wrong, and I wasn't handling it well. I wasn't going to talk about it, but it started with me loading up my car with all of the new mugs that I stayed up till almost midnight making.
Oh my
and
goodness.
then,
Whoa.
like them falling out, some of them breaking.
Ooh.
And I was like, this is terrible. And then I drove away and then almost got out of my neighborhood before I realized my trunk was still open. So all the other stuff fell out of my car. Yep. And then I was like, that sucks. And then I get to church, and even though I'm not supposed to be able to lock my keys in the car, I locked my keys in the car almost immediately. And I called our USAA, and they were supposed to come. They said they'd be here in 50 to 80 minutes. They came over 2 hours later. So long story short, the service I received yesterday prompted me to get a AAA membership today. So no, thank you very much, USAA, but whatever, it's fine. All of this to say, I was not having a great day, but the amount of people that swarmed around me yesterday to help me because I couldn't vocalize the words what I needed to happen. They were just like, what do you need? You need tables? We're going to put tables up, because I had to like set up for the boutique. And there was a lady who was there half hour early wanting to set up, and Pastor Jim was like, just so you know, someone's here to set up. I told her you'd be in momentarily. And I was like, I'm sitting outside of my car having a breakdown because I locked my keys inside. And anyway, so that was my day yesterday. I didn't want to talk about it, but apparently I did. So all of that
Glad you mentioned it.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that, Beth.
Yesterday was a very rare day where anybody who wanted to hug me, I allowed it. I still hug people, but people know I'm not a hugger. I've come around to it, but everyone was like, do you need a hug? And I'm like, yes, I need a hug.
Beth is more of a kisser. She likes kisses on the cheek. And so,
or I'll just lick you.
Yeah, one of those kinds of people.
And I do that so people will stay away from me more. No, just kidding. So it was a rough day, but like, just the amount of people who surrounded me with love and help was it's always overwhelming to me. And so really thankful for that, and thankful that if I'm going to have a breakdown, it might as well be at my church with, all of my very favorite people to help me.
Totally.
Yeah.
Safest
Wow.
space to lock your keys in the car. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. Now we know that if we lock our keys in the car, that we'll have people who
Don't
support us.
rely on USAA to help you, because
don't allow USAA to help us.
That's crazy.
Okay. Wow,
Yeah.
2 hours. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Did they say why?
because they're a third party, and like nobody contacted them, and blah 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 blah. And,
Yeah, that's past 80 minutes. I think I can do math properly.
And then when I kept trying to ask them for updates, they just kept like, when are you going to be here? They just kept giving me like an automated, oh, we're running behind schedule. And I'm like, yeah, but when are you going to be here? We're running behind schedule.
Yeah. Isn't that when they give you a free pizza because they're late? Or is that a different company?
I received no free pizza. But another phrase, I guess you could say, I made a whole bunch of stuff, and I was excited to be able to display all the new stuff that I made. And then I didn't have access to any of it because I locked it in my car. But luckily, all of the other inventory that I have of things that I've made in the past, I've just been storing in my office. So I still had all of my other things I've made. So I was able to at least have some stuff. And
maybe it was God's way of being like, let's get rid of the old, and then, all the new stuff can go towards something else.
Yeah.
We're saving the podcast. Just
like, see, look at this. I'm glad that you shared how, and I am sorry that you had such a rough time.
That sounds.
But I'll be
really
completely honest. I feel I have heard not the exact same story, but similar situations with people where literally it's like one thing after another happens, and they just can't do it. And it's just like, okay, this is a joke. I don't know what's going on, but it's like, I feel like that is a common theme.
I think so too. Yeah.
You're not the first person who said that to me. I think a lot of people are struggling right now through no fault of their own.
I'm just thinking, what is happening?
But I also would like to think that maybe this is happening to remind myself of like all of the good that I still have in my life, even when I'm struggling.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Which leads me, to this
go ahead.
part of my prayer request.
Good.
I know that there are a lot of people struggling right now and are hurting for whatever reason. And I'm trying my best to be there for the people and give them the energy, give them as much as my energy that I will allow them to take. And sometimes that's all I can give, but it's not enough for them. And it's not my responsibility to make up that energy if I'm not one who, if I don't have that energy to give. And so, but I know that there's a lot of people that are hurting and struggling right now and are having a hard time seeing the good in situations through their sadness. And I especially know that the holidays are a really hard time for people.
Yeah.
So I want to also just pray and lift up people who might be struggling and are having a hard time seeing like the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
It's there. You just have to want to see it. And I think you also have to be ready to see it.
And sometimes it requires you to lock your keys in the car so that somebody else can help you turn that light on. Sometimes you just need to do that.
Sometimes you do,
Yeah, that's really nice. Thank you for sharing that, Beth.
Oh, that's so funny. but it's bad. So anyway, I don't know how to
Yeah.
respond to that. I'm
I know.
just gonna dig
If
a
I don't
hole.
laugh, I'll cry, but I'm also going to cry too. So who am I kidding? I will laugh while I cry.
Yeah, it sounds like a happy medium there.
I will be
Yeah.
in full on breakdown mode, and I will still be making the jokes.
Yes.
That's why they have the laughing and
Okay.
crying emoji. That
Yeah.
note that shows you how like passionate you can be laughing or crying.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tim, what about you?
So I wasn't originally going to share this, but now that Beth did the originally not going to share, I'm going to share something too.
We found the update loophole. Just kidding.
So right now, so every 6 months, my apartment complex inspects my apartment, and my mom and I just have too much stuff, and it's like over the months we collect things, and we just have too much clutter. So ultimately, it's just been kind of stressful for me the last like few days, like having to declutter just out of nowhere, like within a week. And not really being able to spend a lot of time figuring it out, what I actually want to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
So a prayer for me to just kind of like figure that out. And that's kind of why I brought up the positive thinking thing, because that's kind of helping me a lot in overcoming like this obstacle. And like, yeah, so and what we were saying about like, Jessica brought this up about how you just kind of have things that kind of compound and so forth. It kind of reminds me of something that I was talking to a friend recently about, and I mentioned to her how I had burnout. I think I might have mentioned burnout on the podcast before for a short period of time, but there was a point in time where I experienced burnout at work, and I'd mentioned this to my friend, and then she asked me, what are some of the ways that you have dealt with the burnout? And I think that something that has really been a blessing in my life is like reaching out to God more in my trials and like struggles and obstacles. Cause that what Jessica was saying is exactly what I would experience at times. Like just like one thing happens and then a second and then a third and then a fourth. And it's like, I think the blessing in all of that is like how much we need God and how much we need like our family, our friends, everybody at church, like just like that's the blessing, I think, in all of the struggles and so forth. Like and so like cultivating those stronger relationships with God and everybody else that are important to us and maybe not so important to us at the time. Really being able to show that love to God and our neighbor. I think that is the light at the end of the tunnel. Even though tangible things might not be providing that light at the time, it's those spiritual and emotional and like ultimately like more rewarding things that are the light at the end of the tunnel. So yeah, so a prayer for me to kind of keep going with positivity and being able to like overcome these obstacles that I currently have, and for anybody else having obstacles right now that could use a prayer. My prayer goes out to you as well.
Yeah. Sounds like you just need to lock your keys in the car, Tim.
Yeah, I think I need that
to
too.
really gain some perspective.
Yeah, I think that would be good. Yes.
Yeah, I think you'll be just fine.
I forgot to mention, not only did I lock one set of keys in the car, I also locked the spare. Craig was like, "You want me to bring the spare?" And I'm like, "Nope, pretty sure I took that with me too." So
you're like, "Nope, I got this handled. I made sure everything was accounted for in the car."
Yep. So it was like a personal hell of my own making that I didn't mean to make.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I think that happens. Like we sort of like make this sort of like personal like inconvenience and major obstacle, and it's not like anybody else's fault. Somehow we ended up doing it to ourselves. I don't
I
know.
get in my own way a lot. I just didn't expect it to be so passively that time.
Yeah.
When we told Jesus, when we were like, we're going to pick up our cross and follow you, we literally meant we're going to pick everything up the hardest way possible so we can become the very coolest and most experienced Christians you'll ever meet.
Wow. That takes on a whole new meaning. So now I have two whole new meanings. Locking your keys in your car might lead you to a better relationship with God and the neighbor. And then you have that as well, like taking up our cross, and we're bringing everything to the cross, and we follow Jesus.
Yep, we're bringing all the keys to the cross. Let me tell you.
The keys to the cross. Hey, maybe that could be some merchandise too.
Yeah. Jesus, take the wheel. I can't get into my car anyway.
Right. I love that.
Oh, that's hilarious. I feel like that would be like a weird Al parody that could go with that. That's amazing.
Jessica.
Yeah, Jessica, what do you have for us?
Yeah. I really want to lift up Amber. She's started having like a little bit of like sinus cold stuff on Friday night, and then Saturday it just kind of, we had to like cancel plans with Pastor Jim because she just was not feeling good, and I just was really bummed that she was feeling that way, and I was like, you need rest. And literally it was like, I think 5 minutes after she messaged him, she passed out. And so she just right now is like very busy for teachers when it comes to like, yes, they just had Thanksgiving or fall break and they had a week off, and then she'll teach for the next 3 weeks, and then it's a winter break. And these 3 weeks are chaotic.
3 very distracted weeks because the kids are crazy.
Yes. And so for her, it's just kind of a lot because there's a lot of planning that comes into it. She is an amazing teacher, as a lot of you may have heard from our previous episode. But she likes to do the Elf on the Shelf for the kids. She likes to do a lot of like fun things for them. She'll help them to create gifts for their adults at home. And so she really likes to let the kids have a really wonderful winter break, because a lot of them may not be able to experience a winter break, like our holiday season, like most kids. So she tries to get them all prepared. So anyways, with that being said, she's really good at wearing herself out. So, which then makes her sick.
Oh,
so
maybe that's why I got sick.
Maybe. Hey. But anyway, so I think just prayers that she can remember to take care of herself. Like tonight, I told her, she must take NyQuil at 6:00 and lay down, and she did not listen to me. But anyways, it's because she's always right. So that's the reason. But that's what I would like to pray for is Amber's health, that she'll feel better, because we are traveling to Iowa. So, and I want her to feel better before we get on the plane.
Yeah.
Because I'll be wearing a mask on the plane because I'm pregnant and I don't want to have to get anything silly, Yeah. But
right. I hope she gets over it as fast as I got over mine. That would be really nice.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is, like, as a teacher, you don't just like call off. So like she went to work today,
Right.
She felt horrible. She drank a lot of water. She's had tea. I mean, she's done anyway, but it's like your body needs rest.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll just lock her out of her car, Beth.
Yeah. I think that might allow her to rest more effectively. She won't have to drive anywhere.
Exactly.
She'll be
solution.
Yeah. That's like a full circle or like a full quadrilateral or something.
You know what? That's what we are. We are the three parts of the quadrilateral. And guess who makes up the fourth part? Beth knows.
Pastor Jim.
Our listeners. Exactly. So anyway, well, it was really good to catch up with you guys because I feel like I hadn't seen you for a while.
Yeah.
Taking a week off feels like a really long time.
I know. Yeah, it was really good catching up with both of you.
Yeah. But, well, until next time, guys.
Yeah. Until.
We all have different names. No matter what life brings us, Jesus is the same. We're just your Methodist to the madness. Methodist to the madness. Methodist to the madness. Methodist to the madness.